This Organized Chaos video is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Oh yes, thank you, Actual Fandom. I am terrible. Yeah, please hit like on that like button, because I'm going to get plenty of dislikes. So please hit like if you enjoy watching this. Alright, I think the next request was Nerdrotic's latest She-Hulk video, which, spelling's hard. 13 days. Wow, he's actually gone a few days without video. Fucking Lord of the Rings, fuck. That series has been over for a couple weeks now. He's still doing Lord of the Rings video. I mean, holy shit. Anyways, I love how often he says, She-Hulk is awful, R.I.P. MCU. How many times has he said R.I.P. MCU? I think, like, on his Obi-Wan Kenobi video, like, he even titled one of those, Disney Star Wars is dead again. And it's like, do you realize you're joking, right? Because you die once, right? Obviously, this isn't going to kill Marvel, and, you know, all the previous times Marvel's been dead, they're not dead. But, okay. Let's check this out. Because I'm sure this won't be cringe. This won't be, super, super anti-woke. Okay, so the joke's gonna be he's fighting in the Netflix one, and then the how it's going is going to be him doing the Walk of Shame. Yes, because, fun fact, characters aren't always grim dark fighting in hallways. Sometimes they get lucky and have a good night. These guys really hold the audience scores as if it means anything, as if the toxic fandom hasn't, like, just nuked almost all the audience scores anymore. It's getting to the point where I think lots of sites will probably get rid of things like audience scores and stuff like that, because if you're just gonna have these thousands of people just nuking on it, then what the fuck is the point? It's a useless score at that point.
We got to see a new side of Matt Murdock. You know, we got to see a side to him where he's kind of like, you know.
This seems a little loud.
Gotcha.
So he's not just making fun of him for the Walk of Shame, he's also making fun of him for, like, hooking up, which, he actually did that in the Daredevil series quite a bit, too. He did alright in the Daredevil series, as I remember, as well.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Nerdrotic.com.
She-Hulk thankfully has ended, and that wraps it up for this installment of the MCU. A show that could have been an answer to the phrase I coined, but it ended up being the very definition of the MCU.
She-Hulk smash.
And I guess we really got under Disney Marvel's skin. Yeah! Gotta give credit where credit is due. They really did try to have a fourth wall breaking, self-aware legal comedy. They broke the fourth wall, and Marvel. And worst of all, not to bury the lead, we ended up being the villains. Not that that hurts content creators here on YouTube, not.
Wow, so he's just kind of saying, yeah, the incel cringy guys on the show are us. That's a interesting self-own, dude. You're honestly gonna take on. I mean, it's obvious that's what they were targeting. But I'm kind of shocked that you actually, like, said, "Oh yeah, no, that's us." Really, the toxic guys in that show. You're gonna take ownership of that. That's okay.
Not at all. It's great. What it does hurt is the fandom.
From the show, you can tell we very clearly expected the exact reactions that we predicted. I think that really goes to show just how unoriginal and tired and predictable these trolls are, that 3 years ago, we knew what they were going to say to something in 3 years. And they were saying all the things that I knew were going to be in the third episode, and I just sat back and waited.
But the mask is off. They made it very clear they not only hate the fandom, they hate nerds, and always have.
Whoa, that's a huge step there. What? They hate all fandom now just because they hate on you guys? No, not all fandom is you guys. Get over it.
It's fan baiting and hating come full circle. It started with Ghostbusters 2016 where...
Oh, God. Fuck Ghostbusters 2016. I am sorry. You guys need to get the fuck over this. I remember when this movie came out, you guys were all so concerned. Oh, Ghostbusters 2016 is going to replace the original Ghostbusters. But now when people say Ghostbusters, you know you're talking about 84. And now Ghostbusters 2016 is literally called Ghostbusters 2016. It is a meh movie, and the entire world has moved on except for these guys. I swear to God.
Where essentially the troll was the villain. They did it in The Boys Season 2. Hell, they even did it in The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, who just so happens to be a Jar Jar Abrams disciple. And they did it in She-Hulk. Ladies and gentlemen, Disney Marvel has jumped the shark.
Jump the shark? Okay, what's the jump the shark moment?
Here we go again.
Because it appears...
Well, I mean, I thought you hated... Oh, nice Rip-A-Verse shirt. Nice. Cool.
that the only villains Hollywood is willing to portray is the paying customer.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
And it shouldn't surprise anyone that streaming stocks are falling, and Hollywood just had its worst box office in 25 years. And to make things even worse, they finally introduced Daredevil, who has set a Marvel record. He has been in the best thing they have ever done. Sorry, I need to rephrase that. The best thing they will ever do, and now he's also in the worst. No, and I don't think it's coincidence that Daredevil on Netflix will be the best thing Marvel has ever done, and it's the one thing Kevin Feige had nothing to do with. Perry Chan, what's that quote from The Dark Knight that's applicable in this instance?
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Now, didn't these guys like Infinity War and shit like that? It was only like Phase 4 when it became popular to really bash on this shit. I think Captain Marvel was the first one they really went after. I know Nerdrotic really liked Thor Ragnarok when that came out. Now he's like, oh, it sucks. But yeah, when it came out, he loved it. Oh, good point, Jedi of Osis. He hasn't said The Last Jedi yet. We got it. Yeah, they gotta bring up The Last Jedi.
Bet it stings that I used the DC film for that. And yes, it's true. She-Hulk is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I argued that she should have been introduced a long time ago, and it's also true that She-Hulk is the worst thing Disney Marvel has produced. But just think, if the Rings of Power wasn't around, it would actually be worse. At time of recording, it still has a 3.3 Metacritic score. It's 5 out of 10 on IMDb, and it has a 35% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, props to you for not cutting out the critic score there, which is significantly higher. It's almost like the audience scores just get bombed by you guys and they become worthless.
Not even the Marvel stands on Twitter could save this one, although they did try, at least the ones who are living. I popped this up the other day, how it started, how it's going, and of course, the point just blew right past them. Hate to explain my jokes, so I'm going to only do this once, and I'm going to speak.
We get the joke. It's bad. It's a bad joke. You're not a deep joke. Ugh, fuck.
Very slowly for the Disney Marvel stand. This is not about Matt Murdock getting laid. It is a measure of quality. Plus, if you were a fan, you would know.
Really? Really? Because why are you using the scene from the Walk of Shame then? That's probably one of the best She-Hulk episodes too. So like, how is that a measure of quality? If you want to do a measure of quality, maybe do a picture of the bad CGI. Because there was lots of scenes with spotty CGI. No, if you're using the picture from the Walk of Shame, you are obviously doing, commenting on the fact that he got laid. It's not explaining if you have to explain the joke and it's completely, like, that is not the meaning of what you posted at all. you would have to explain that because that's not what you posted.
No, he got laid in the Netflix series. First off, there's no such thing as a guy doing the walk of shame, especially after banging Elektra. But I have to make one exception. After seeing the entirety of She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters' character, this scene might be applicable. As far as the show goes, well...
Cool. So, yeah. Of course he's gonna bash on Jennifer Walters. Whatever.
Well, it started with cringe and ended with contortion. Fortunately for all of humanity, the episodes were extremely short. But what we did end up getting was something the writers of this show thought was different, but it ended up being right in line with the MCU.
Fix me. Get me back to normal. Give me that little device. Make me one. For me. Calibrate it to me.
For you.
No, I don't want to be a Hulk.
Triggers are anger and fear.
Those are like the baseline of any woman just existing.
Triggers for Nerdrotic are woman or minority starring in anything.
Right then. Shut up! Shut up!
A titular character constantly playing the victim who ends up just being ultimately
Are these volume levels popping around a bit on him? I just lowered it. I thought I had it on go volume, and now it seems to be loud again.
but narcissist.
I mean, I've had to threaten to burn the studio to the ground just to get to this point. So it's been a dream come true.
All of this reflecting the worldview of the writers and the Los Angeles that we live in today.
Okay, what's wrong with that? As a general rule, as a writer, you write best from what you know. So yeah, that they're going to put some of their experiences on the film. That's how writing works.
Texting, dating, drinking, going to a club.
I mean, that's type, like, you just said you're a She-Hulk fan. Well, that's the type of shit She-Hulk does.
Texting, dating, and more drinking. There's so much drinking in this show that I'm starting to think that someone on the writing staff, or maybe the entire writing staff, needs a meeting. Jennifer Walters did end up sleeping with a lot of guys, 3 in 3 episodes at one point.
Can we stop this?
And she's a slut.
Stop it?
Hey, I didn't say it, the show did. All in an episode.
Yeah, that was the villains. You do understand, as a general rule, when a villain says something, you're not supposed to take that genuinely, but okay.
Where, oh my god, we shot for shiz.
Shiz. Shiz. Oh my god. Shiz.
We shot for dresses and a superhero outfit that we didn't see for multiple episodes. We saw Jen go to therapy and have sex with Daredevil.
A woman has needs.
Can you imagine if they make a pop vinyl 2-pack, which you know they will, of She-Hulk having sex with Daredevil? Like the drinker said, Disney Marvel has hit rock bottom.
Let your thoughts drift away, relax your neck, bend your knees if that's more comfortable, hold in your farts. Namaste all day.
What is this?
This brings us to the worst finale of the worst thing Disney Marvel has ever produced. And yes, there is supposed to be a plot surrounded by the unintended and hilarious message that choosing a career over family is a miserable experience. Ladies, it is possible to do both, you know. My wife managed it for decades. Turns out intelligentsia is...
Well, I mean, there's that huge backstory with him that, excuse me, that Eduardo, went into pop counterculture. You should go into it. But yeah, Nerdrotic's fall got really successful on YouTube, doing lots of the sexism and racism in movies and cultivating the fandom menace. But yeah, he a lot of it kind of him going insane after his wife's business folded during the pandemic.
Is the big bad, and intelligentsia is filled with Disney Marvel critics.
They took the Hulk fanhood away, but then they gave it to a woman? Yeah, man, I don't get it. Why are you doing that? I have no problem with female heroes.
Okay, these are not Disney Marvel critics. These are the guys like you who criticize them every time there's a woman or a minority in a prominent role. These are not your standard critics. Yeah.
I'm just saying, make your own. I don't know about y'all, but I'd smash.
This is... What? What is this? Mal.
After being exposed at the Female Lawyer of the Year event for being a slut. Again, I'm not saying it, the show is.
The villains are. So yeah, if you're taking the side of the villain, you are essentially calling her a slut, because that's not what the show is saying. That's what the villains are saying.
and gets locked up at damage control, something Disney Marvel is going to have to do after this series. And the Hollywood idealized version of a best friend, Nikki, which is just a really competent personal assistant, and a guy named Pug go investigate intelligentsia at an anti-She-Hulk meetup. You can't make this stuff up. By the way, I'm going to be at a meetup with Geeks and Gamers on October 30th in Orlando, Florida, and maybe we can rename it to the Anti-She-Hulk meetup.
Well, you might as well, because that's pretty much what you guys are.
Big surprise, the tech bro ends up being King Hulk, and the one who created intelligentsia. He's also gay, which kind of paints the writers in a woke corner, doesn't it? Does that make him a gay-misogynist?
What the hell?
What'd you expect? Condoms?
Anyway, he stole She-Hulk's blood and turns into...
I don't remember him being established as gay. Do they say that? Tell me in the chat. I don't remember that.
A Hulk.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture.
Well, objectively, the effects in She-Hulk look much better.
I'm buff!
Yeah, come at me, bro!
They're the same picture.
Ivan Blonsky was there as Abomination, breaking his parole to do speaking engagements. Then all hell breaks loose. Titania shows up, Hulk shows up, there's a big fight, then they break the fourth wall. It's going to be very difficult to describe how bad this is. The writers did attempt some self-awareness. Unfortunately, that type of writing requires something they don't have: talent.
What?
Okay, according to JP, they never established him as gay. He's just a narcissistic guy. Yeah, that's what I picked up. I never picked up that he was gay. Yeah, I remember him hitting on Jennifer. Yes, I remember that quite a bit. I don't remember him ever being established as gay.
Kind of stupid finale is this?
She-Hulk has decided she wants a different ending to her show, and we just want it to end. But the entire staff didn't miss the opportunity for a self-insert.
I love...
She-Hulk demands to see the manager, who happens to be...
Oh, I get it. Blonde hair, because she's a Karen. You are hilarious. I had you pegged all wrong. You're a comedy genius, dude. MCU, fucking gold.
Kevin, an AI running an algorithm. After Taika Waititi took shots at the Disney Marvel effects staff with Thor: Love and Thunder, they decide to do it a second time here.
You are very expensive.
The effects in the finale were actually much better than Thor: Love and Thunder, so I feel like you're just poking fun at the effects because there were spotty effects in the series and it's an easy target. And most of your fans won't double check you.
Wait until the camera is off you. The visual effects team has moved on to another project.
Yeah, Mike, let's, after I finish this video, let's go ahead and do that.
There, do it now.
Better?
Some might say it's in bad taste, considering recent events that this show was filmed prior to, and I would just say it's Disney Marvel taste. So She-Hulk convinces the Kevin AI running an algorithm to change the ending from something less formulaic to something formulaic.
Well, yeah, that's what Hulks do. We smash things. Bruce smashes buildings, I smash fourth walls and bad endings. And sometimes Matt Murdock.
Okay, now get back to the show.
Oh, and Daredevil comes back, and no, I don't like that costume, and it's not comic accurate.
It's not. No, there's a comic book version of the costume like that. The colors are obviously slightly different, but they're not going to do a one-to-one adaptation because they can't. I think it kind of worked. I like the new costume. It's not my favorite costume, but I like it.
Accurate, and I didn't like the yellow one in the comics.
But yeah, you just said it's not comic book accurate, and then you show the comic book version of that. So yes, it is comic accurate. You can just say you don't like the color scheme. That's at least something, man.
It's very daring to use ketchup and mustard as your color scheme.
And now that it's all said and done, She-Hulk ended up being pointless, abysmal, forgettable MCU content for D+. But they did accomplish one thing: character assassination, in orders of magnitude worse than any prior D+ show. Abomination, ruined. Wong, ruined. Hulk, ruined. Daredevil, ruined. Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, ruined. But they weren't done there. It's bad enough Ragnarok half-assed it, but this puts
the movie you liked. Like, watch his Ragnarok review. He loved that movie.
It's the nail in the coffin of Planet Hulk. They introduced Scar.
I have someone here that I'd like you all to meet. This is my son, Scar.
I don't get it. He's standing there. What, does he just not like the look? What the fuck?
Top of his head.
It's a style. I assume it's a style from, I assume he's from Sakaar, so I assume it's a style from Sakaar. That's a thing. I mean, I've seen people have that hairstyle. This is not like a thing that's never been done before.
They managed to do it.
Yes, Nothing But Media. These guys are just the Simpsons comic book guys now. Yes, this is this comic book guy from Simpson, like, taken seriously.
Planet Hulk. Like I said in my first review, the most interesting things with the Hulk are all happening off screen. And that's because the writer's only real experience with...
He literally changed Rippaverse shirts in this video. How much money did he give Eric July, or did he just send it to you for free to rep him?
With fandom is hating it. If the messaging wasn't subtle enough for you in the actual series, we have this from...
I mean, I'm not a fan of the Gobble Gobble Derpwood. The hairstyle looks terrible. I'm not a fan of it either, but it's an actual hairstyle that exists. People do that, and I assume it's just culturally what Sakaar does.
Variety. I'm going to change this headline slightly to give you...
And I will say it looks better than Hawkeye's hair in Endgame. I do not like that hairstyle, if we're going to get picky on hairstyles.
The proper translation. She-Hulk team explains the fourth wall breaking finale and delivering a you to Marvel fans. Incidentally, the word troll is used 17 times in this article. How did it feel to accurately predict what the trolls would be saying? Our writer's room opened 3 years ago. The fact that we were able to predict what the reaction was going to be, what a lot of the trolling comments were going to be, really shows how very tired and unoriginal these trolls are. That really tickled me because the little troll that lives inside of me really loves trolling the trolls. Troll or trolling were used 6 times in that paragraph.
Yes, because they were talking about trolls, so the word troll came up. Isn't that funny how that works?
And just replaced most of them with the word fan, except if it's referring...
But they're not talking about your average fan. They're talking about fucking trolls. There's a difference. Stop conflating the two, dude. That's like your whole business, conflating the two.
To Jessica Gao. Poser would be more applicable with her. Jessica Gao and that writer's room. You ruined multiple beloved characters all to own the trolls, or in other words, the...
Well, I like how they went to own the trolls and they didn't actually, like, ruin any characters. I actually thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Paying customer. And yes, Marvel is dying. Let's keep...
I mean, I'm sure if I ask him, what character did they ruin? He would just come back, oh, they ruined She-Hulk. And I'd be like, how? And he'd be like, oh, well, she broke the fourth wall, or she did this and that. And it's like, well, the comic book does that. And then he sputters out.
Keep in mind, there is no Captain America, because Steve Rogers is Captain America. There's no Iron Man.
So you just gonna drop that in there because Sam Wilson has taken on the mantle of Captain America, but you keep on liking the tweet that Steve Rogers is Captain America, and like somehow no one else can take on that mantle, despite the fact that mantles have been passed on in comic books forever. So gee whiz, why are you okay with Hal Jordan being Green Lantern, but not Sam Wilson being Captain America? What's the difference between Hal Jordan and Sam Wilson? Let me think on this one. What is the difference between these two? This is a thinker. Let me ponder this.
And Disney Marvel does not own or control the theatrical rights to their most popular character, Spider-Man, and probably never will. The Fantastic Four has been delayed Fantastic Four times, and they had to rely on Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool to have the most exciting announcement in years, one that eclipsed all others. And that's already been delayed, all in a time when America's...
Deadpool 3 got delayed? Can I get a source on that? Has anybody heard anything about Deadpool 3 being delayed? Last I heard, the announcement date was September 2024. So, like, it's 2 years off.
Dumbest company, Warner Brothers, finally does something right and brings back Henry Cavill as Superman, along with multiple versions of Batman. DC's bringing back their big two as Marvel murders theirs, and they're all happening for the same reason. Get woke, go broke. But never fear.
She-Hulk was a relatively successful show, so I don't think that applies. And Get Woke, Go Broke, I'm so sick of it. Get Woke, Go Broke. Captain Marvel made $1 billion. Oh, Disney bought seats. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Here, Marvel fans, things are going to be just fine with the MCU Stage 4. Right around the corner, we have the Marvels, and just a month away, we have Waiting to Exhale 2.
Wakanda forever!
Oh, that makes me uncomfortable.
If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you...
Yeah, I'm not subscribed. Oh, it's going to be released in July? Well, the teaser he released recently was September, so... Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, movies that are that far out will get delayed. They aren't even in they're in pre-production. Movies in pre-production, literally everything can change. The MCU, as far as these big comic book studios, is actually doing okay. Nothing but media. I love how they're ignoring Werewolf by Night. Yeah, Werewolf by Night was actually pretty fucking cool and worth checking out. These anti-woke guys are fucking ridiculous. Just anything to push their narrative. It's insane.
They think order and chaos are somehow opposites and try to control what won't.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.